Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to build a series encyclopedia. Very aggressive on the eyebrows. This video is being sponsored by Campfire and we're going to use their program to build everything. Y'all will have seen me do this in a bunch of other vlogs. As I've been rereading the Meridian maps, I've kind of been making note of all of my character names. So any named characters I've put into my Blaze project, I've tracked all of my locations and my customs for those regions, and I'm still kind of working on building out a map and sort of segmenting it off. But today we're going to be starting a new encyclopedia for a project I've been working on with my brothers. Well, we play D&D together, and I'm doing like a novelization of our D&D game. So David's done a lot of the world building. Robert and I are like playing the main characters, and it is a buddy thieves story. Anyways, I'm excited. I just figured out the narrator voice that I want to tell the story in, and we've played about 10 sessions or so, so I feel like I've kind of got a feel for everything. And now it's just kind of time to make the project. Shall we? We shall. So actually you can see the Meridian maps is right here. We're not gonna click on that though. Even though at the time of making it. And now I was very excited. You can also import a project from Campfire Pro if you used that previously. In another video, I've talked about how much I love the cloud aspect of Campfire Blaze, especially as I'm still kind of juggling between multiple computers and different projects. But if you want or need to transfer something, you can do that. We, however, are going to click on Create New Project. Ooh, okay. So we're gonna rename this to Buddy Thieves. But our characters are Buddy Thieves. It's like Buddy Cops, only they're thieves and terrible, and it's amazing. D&D novelization. Created by Kate Kavanaugh. That is me. You can also, God. You can see the drawings I did for the Meridian Maps characters, but you can pick images, which I think is a fun way to just kind of have your inspiration there at all times. I downloaded some from Dungeons and Dragons, so we're just gonna use this really pretty one with a castle and the dragons flying in the background. Choose for upload. Choose. Ta-da! I'm also going to enter some basic text that I got from my brother. Since David's the DM, he is the one that has come up with a lot of things. And in fact, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I actually don't have all of the information as I'm playing one of the characters, so it's been really interesting for me to figure out what my character knows and flesh out the world from there. So it's nice that this encyclopedia can be like a living, breathing thing that I can very easily access and add more information as I learn it, as Seraphina Tea Leaf learns it. Because that is my character. She is a halfling, adorable, terrible, amazing. So I'm actually going to get started with Seraphina. You do these characters, I'm actually going to see an example. They kind of have this baseline for what a character could be. And I am just, oh my goodness. Parmelia, okay, I see you. So I'm gonna work in this and just change it to be for Seraphina Tea Leaf, my character. Going to delete the image section because I don't need this right now. So let's go ahead and move this basic info over. Seraphina Tea Leaf, that's right. I'm gonna delete that attribute, pronouns she, her, female, no formal education, this is important. I also want to add some attributes. So we're gonna go down here. They have a lot of preset attributes, which is really nice. You can create your own too and build within this, but I'm going to add race. And then they have lots of options for you to do, but I'm gonna go ahead and just put halfling. Ta-da! That items is gonna be really important. Robert and I had never played D&D before, so we started out with pre-made characters that we've evolved. The items we are also picking up as we play more and more, and so knowing what I have in my inventory turns out to be really important. Playing our D&D game has also helped me as a writer, I feel like, because I don't always have inventory lists of what my characters are carrying on them, but of course in real life, if you're carrying the things, you're more likely to use the things, but as a writer, I just sometimes forget what all I have given them and what all my characters have in their arsenal, and so anyways, having it right here, I will freaking know. Seraphina's inventory. I also want to add a panel, and I'm just gonna add a text panel because what I want to do is have a history for Seraphina, which admittedly, again, because my brother and I are just learning, we did not come up with a lot of backstory for our characters. Who is Seraphina Tea Leaf? So this will be nice just as I'm thinking of something while we're playing. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep this up while we're playing and I can add stuff to it that way. So because they're buddy thieves, I think I will add this aliases section. I don't know what all I want to have there yet, but it's giving me an idea for my character. Oh, preferred weapon and fighting style. That will be helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and tag that also. Not the fighting style, but the preferred weapon. Put a scythe. Anyways, so you have the option of choosing things that they've already pre-programmed in here, but I'm just gonna go ahead, and I didn't see it. Plasma whip. Anyways, Seraphina uses a short bow a lot, so I'm just gonna write that in there. Physical attributes, sure, we'll keep, I think she has more brown eyes. Brown hair, built, small. Parmelia, I'm gonna change that. Parmelia was selfless, but Seraphina is the definition of selfish. Learned young. Okay, so now that I have all the current information I want, and I will say that what I think I'm gonna do is a little bit later, because I'm gonna need to keep track of how much money my character has at a given time. They're thieves, they steal a lot, okay? I think I'm gonna make that its own section so that I can just like kind of up and down, but I'm gonna wait on that. So I'm gonna go to templates. It already has a character basics template, but what I'm going to do is, this is my new template. Let me rename this to D&D basics. I don't know. I really only need to do this for my character and then my brother's character VM. We're going to save over that with my current layout. And then I'm going to use it, I'm going to set as default so that when I go over here and then add a character, it will already have the same basic layout. I don't have to drag and drop anything more than I want it to. So now the full name is, we're actually unsure. He goes by VM. With my brother's sense of humor, I will let y'all guess what you think VM might be. It's an ongoing joke that he doesn't share his full name. And he is a dwarf. Occupation, he's also a criminal. He did have a noble background when he started, so I'm gonna put that there for now. We're just gonna keep VM as the alias currently, and then he just kind of fills it in with whatever as he goes. Also small. Long hair, braided beard at the start. So throughout the process, because they're thieves, they actually have to go back, you know, put some disguises on, do some things. It's very fun. Who is VM? And though I'm doing the novelization, so it'll be important for me to know all of Robert's character's tools and stuff, it's not quite as important as him knowing it. I will say the only thing that is especially important, let me add, I just want to duplicate. VM does have an eye patch. There's actually a really funny moment where he's had this eye patch for, I don't know, 8 sessions that we're playing. We've snuck into this guy's chamber and we're reading over some important documents, and VM's kind of peering down. He lifts his eye patch and vision's fine. Does not need the eye patch. All for show. And I think that perfectly encapsulates VM's character. In fact, in one instance, he moves the eye patch to the different eye while he's switching up his disguise. So he's all about that axe. So now something really fun that we can do is we can go back to character and do the relationship. So we're gonna add a relationship web. New relationship web. Thieves. I'm going to manage my colors and put friends will be this like pretty greenish color. I like that. We're going to add VN. We're going to add Seraphina. Actually, you can see that it has my other characters from the Meridian maps, and I really love how it easily sort of shows that these are my characters and these are from that story. So if you wanted to have like multiple books and you're having one whole series, super helpful to see where they appear. Do Seraphina, VM. I did not give him a thing, but we can add, ta-da, friends. Now I have thousands of words of notes for people who are not friends with VM and Seraphina. So I don't have the character yet. They're not super important. Let me see if I can add a character. New element. going to add a character to Buddy Thieves. We're going to add Tarek. We're going to create it. Now I can add him. So if you wanted to focus on the web first and build that out. Frenemies, they work together, but they're after the same item ultimately, and these thieves just like to steal from each other. So one thing that I love you could also do is change the style of the line. So if you want it dotted, dashed instead, you can do all kinds of different line shapes. So I'm going to change it to a dotted line. And I think this also just basically allows you to have, if they had more of a history, you can add in some notes here. So if I wanted to say like the dashed line is history, gameplay, and dotted line history, like, I don't know. They don't have history. Go ahead and add those notes. That way for me I know later. And when I want to change it to a dashed line, I can now say that, you know, Seraphina and Tarek are frenemies, but they met during the course of the story, whereas VM and Tarek know each other a little bit ahead of time. I will have those notes for myself. I'm actually debating the narrator element here because I'm playing it so that the narrator is almost like a third character, but I'm thinking I want to do it as that they're observing it all, but they're really making fun of our characters because our characters, they're buddy thieves. They're not the greatest of people, and it's much more fun, I think, for the reader to get it from the perspective of this third party, just being like, they suck a little bit, don't they? Like, they're fun, but they suck. So I don't think I need to make that as a character itself, but I am sort of treating it that way as I'm telling the story. So we're gonna go to plot and we're gonna go to timeline. If you've been on my channel for very long, you know that I've struggled with timelines a lot. So it's really nice to be able to see this easily. We're gonna go ahead and just add a basic event and do break into palace. They're after this kind of shard, this particular gem that's been broken up into many shards. It's very interesting. They're breaking into this palace at the start of the novel with Tarek, and then Tarek kind of tries to betray them before they can betray him, which is terrible. So I'm going to actually change the BCE and the CE here because that's not what I want it to be. So if I go to my timeline and I just edit the timeline, this is where I can change all of that. So I think I just want numerical if I'm gonna have units, and I'm gonna change, instead of before common era, I'm gonna change before game, kind of like what I did over on the character section, and I'll say during game. So it will be BG and DG. We do have an idea of what we're going for. So besides the collection of the gems, there is this fireball festival that our characters are super looking forward to. We have that at the end. They're like, look how these people are gonna be able to steal from because they're partying so hard at the fireball festival. That's a month away, but I think the whole course of this story is going to take at least a year. I can always come back and edit this, and duration years, we're gonna say 5 years will be important before then, I think. Now it says 1970 DG, but I just wanted to say 0 DG. This is the first thing they're doing. I'll probably change this to mean days or weeks, but there we go. So that is event 1 is on there. Main plot, so you can change this. So I'm gonna call this getting the shards. We're going to add a plot line, and except that VM and Seraphina aren't often separate from each other, there are times when they are, but I think this would be a really interesting thing. So if your story has kind of overarching plot lines, maybe with characters that we're not seeing on screen but that you know about, it can be helpful to have that. If you have like a magical item or anything like that that's being changed and evolved over time, it could be nice to see the intersection of those two plot lines and kind of where everything fits. So that's how I would use this. I don't know that I necessarily need it here. The Meridian maps, it gets a lot used. NDK, bro. Whatever, you get my point. Follow the post. And I think if you wanted to do notes in here so you can edit the event, now you can do the overview, the description, you can actually tag the characters. So I'm going to tag VM because he was there, link element, they're in the frickin' palace. Now I have VM and Seraphina tagged so you can see them there. So I mentioned before that we don't know a lot about the backstory, but also the backstory is being created as we're playing. We'll just have random little one-off things that we say, and that becomes the backstory. So it's helpful for me to be able to go back and go, you know, pre-game or before the game, BG, and have an outline of when these things happened. We don't even actually know yet how they met. We just know that they've been thieving together for a while. So let's go ahead. So there's a bunch of the world building aspects. You can add locations. You can have like an actual encyclopedia where they have examples. So like I'll pull up this so you can kind of see an example of the hard candy showing macarons. That's okay, Campfire. So it's just whatever's important to your world. I don't need magic, for instance, but you can add this magic module, a new magic system, and then it has information. So the source, the costs, it kind of shows you what's important and like any kind of limitations or exceptions, which I think is really cool that they already pre-populate this for you with ideas to get, you know, the inspiration flowing. But what we're gonna play with right now is the items. We're gonna see an example because that's fun. Jetpack! And I'm actually going to change this to be the gem / shard. Choose. So we're just gonna pretend it looks like a dice, even though it doesn't. Attributes, it is shiny. Broken up in haphazard fashion, though can be combined to make one bigger gem shard. I think these stats are really cool, especially the worth section, but as I have not completely defined how much it's worth, aka I'm not the DM. So other than knowing it's worth a lot, I actually don't have a lot of information on here yet. My character is discovering it as we kind of play along. In fact, I think we're getting close to potentially having another shard, or at least finding where another one could be. So value, very expensive. I could also add like species myself. You can see an example. I think it's a little sleepy rabbit, how cute. As we're playing on the standard D&D tropes, I don't really think I need to put too much information in there, though it could be helpful for me to attach that at some point. But my favorite thing about this is the tagging feature. I talked about this in a different video, in a different vlog, but say I'm like, Serafina enters the stuffed rabbit. Now, if I tagged that as a location, we would know that that's a bar, but if we pull this up, Serafina's, all of her basic info is here so I could see it. It's easily accessible. When I go to what items I have at any given moment, that will be very helpful. Enters the stuffed rabbit and spies VM, we'll say. So now I can go ahead and click on VM and see the exact same stuff. Okay, editing me is interrupting because I convinced my brother to send me one of the maps. I'm not supposed to see it as I'm playing the character who doesn't know a lot about the region, but he sent me one. I will credit the artist down below because, as David claimed, he is a thief by DM trade. So let's go ahead and go back to our project. I'm going to open up the map section again and upload the picture that Dave gave me of Lakeshore. And this is one of my favorite things. I'm really excited to use it for the Meridian maps once I have everything drawn out personally. But once you have a main map, you can add locations directly onto the map. So we're going to add the stuffed rabbit, that bar I was talking about before, and you can actually change the icon so you can visually see what it is that you're looking at from just the map viewpoint, right? So we're gonna search for something for a bar. And then we can add a little bit to the overview and just, you know, it'll save automatically. Another one of my favorite things about Campfire Blaze, saves automatically. It's the cloud, it's amazing. So now you can see, pretty little icon, so cute. And when we go back to the manuscript version, once I click on it, you can see now that the stuffed rabbit is highlighted, and we can go to our overview and see it's literally what I just put. So this is so helpful for when you have collected, you know, a mass of things. Much like this D&D game, our characters are traveling a lot, they're Meridian maps, they're exploring a lot of places by sea, by land, so, so helpful. And now, if we go back to my home, we can see Buddy Thieves, the recently updated new chapter that I didn't add, my 893 words and stats, 13 entries. It's very cool. I could also change around this index a little bit if I wanted, but it's very fun. It's nice. Relationships, the thieves, little timeline. One of the other things I really appreciate about Campfire Blaze is that they update their patches regularly. They're always adding more information and more things that you can do. In fact, that tagging thing was not something they had originally, but they've added since. They also have a super helpful help desk. Yes, a helpful help desk. Lots of FAQs. They have their own YouTube channel, so they've walked through everything that you can do so that you can see someone else do it. And with the Meridian maps and now this D&D campaign, this is the first time that I'm really exploring fantasy in full, I guess, in worlds that I've completely made up myself or worlds I'm playing in that are completely made up. So there's not reference points. Before I'd done a lot of urban fantasy, but now it's a whole new world. I'm actually excited to try this for some of my romance stuff just to see if the timeline function works as well there too. And if you're interested in any of this, please do click the link down below. You can try Campfire Blaze for free and see if you like it. Let me know what's your favorite part. If you're already using it, let me know how you use it. And let me know if building out a series, encyclopedia, story, Bible, whatever, has really helped you and your writing. But thank you once again to Campfire Blaze for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye! What the heck, dog?